Hello, sports fans. Larry Allen here at the KGAS Studios, and alongside me, Scott Surratt, the head football coach and athletic director at Carthage High School. The Carthage portion of Pigskin Preview brought to you by Worthington AC and Plumbing. Well, the Bulldogs coming off another victory, and for the second time this year, the only score of the ball game for the opponent was a pass. In fact, you take that away, and they didn't have much offense. The Bulldogs winning at 38-6. So, Coach, tell us what you thought after watching the film.
Oh, I thought we played very well. There's always going to be mistakes in games, but, good athletes a lot of times cause those mistakes, and that was the best, definitely the best athletic team we had played. Mm-hmm. And, they'll get better and better as it goes when they get the quarterback situation figured out. But defensively, they were actually really, really good. The corners, we faced two better corners, and we're going to face really, really good corners. They were listed in Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas football running 4-4, and we played them last year, and we knew they were good corners last year, and they were 2-year starters or maybe 3-year starters, and they could really play. And their D-line is really, really good, really big inside and long. And number 9 was the sophomore of the year last year, so we knew we were going to play a very good defense. And we gave up a sack here on a touchdown that they had busted. We felt like we may be wide open on that coverage, and we were. And but for the most part, I was pretty happy. Didn't make a very good call on a reverse call down there on third down. Those reverses either are really good calls or really bad. That's just the way it is, and unfortunately, that was one of those bad ones. And but we did get a field goal after that. It was very positive by Brendan Phillips, and he was solid all night. He was Special Teams Player of the Week, and so we had a lot of positives, and just the one play on defense. And other than that, we were humming again, very physical, and controlled the line of scrimmage. And Rayvon Ingram was our most valuable defensive player this week, and he had, I think, 14 tackles and an interception, played very well. So there was so many positives, but the biggest positive, we got better and didn't have getting major injuries out of the game.
Outstanding. Okay, Kelvonte Dixon, 3 touchdowns, and Scott, it's good to have someone on your team that when he gets loose, the other team's not going to catch him.
Well, there's no question. I don't know a whole lot of people in the state's going to catch him, and so we feel like if he gets out front, and we're going to score. And we went for it on the 4th down, and it was double coverage, and he threw it to Kelvonte, and I just said, hey, ours is better than theirs, because he just went up over everybody, and he made a great throw. Kai made a great throw, but he was double covered, and he just went up over him and caught it. And and he was our most valuable offensive player of the week. Kelvonte was. So, he played very well, and we're looking for bigger and better things out of him. We're still working him in the backfield, and you'll see that more, in closer games. And so he's a great tailback too. But we're real pleased with our tailback play also.
All right, we want to talk about a player who was almost the Defensive Player of the Week. You said that at Chalk Talk. That's Kip Lewis, the sophomore. I tell you what, Scott, one of the advantages of Chalk Talk is we get to see a play 2 or 3 times. You run it over and over, particularly when a player has made an outstanding effort. And Kip Lewis, just a sophomore, boy, I'm excited about that young man.
I am too. He keeps showing up, and he keeps showing up on tape. And this spring, we thought he may be a year away just because of youth and size, and then he's starting to put on, some good pounds, and so really excited about, not only this year because he's playing very well, but just his future and how big he's going to get in the weight room, and I think he's got a real future in the game, and so we're excited about him.
As you pointed out at Chalk Talk, his dad's a pretty good-sized fella.
His dad's a very good-sized fella, so I think he's going to continue to grow. Of course, he's got a sister's twin sister that's a very good player on the volleyball team also, and so they're very athletic.
All right. Another thing about Chalk Talk, you show the end zone view. I really like that view on a lot of plays, including it just points out how accurate Brennan Phillips is, because most of those extra points just go right over the camera, don't they?
Yeah, he's one of the most accurate kickers I've ever coached, in practice, and it's carried over into the games, and and then we had a lot of kickers out there now. It's we got a lot of guys that can really kick it, and we went with Brennan. He's a senior, and I think he's the most accurate out of the ones. And but right now we got Pedro that's still on injury, and he'll be back within a week or two. And then we made him the starting kicker last year against Henderson, and he went 5 for 5 there. And then I went to another one on a senior because it was senior night, and he ended up having. Going to kick in college, and Alberto Garcia, the left-footed kicker last year, he was a special teams player of the week at ETBU last week or the week before.
Outstanding.
Kicking. So we're excited about our kickers and our kicking program right now. When we first got here, we had one, and and now there's probably 8 or 9 out there freshmen on, and so we're excited. I think soccer helped that. And Coach Watson tells them to come out and kick, and they really like it. They don't have to stay the whole practice. They usually kick for about an hour. If they're kicking more than an hour, then they're kicking way too much, in my opinion. So we do it around them, and then then they come and say, well, you don't make them stay the whole time. Well, they may only play like 20 seconds total in a whole game. You know what I mean? When they kick 5 times in 4 seconds of play, it's not like they need to be out there for 20 hours and walk out there and kick one every now and then. So that's how we got to get a lot of kickers out there also.
I think Pedro told me yesterday at practice, out of the 7 this year, 6 are on the soccer team. And as you said, boy, Bubba Watson, he has really brought that soccer team along, and he deserves at least a part of the credit for the number of kickers we've got.
He does. He said, Coach, he'll say, I'm going to send one out there and see if he can kick it. And usually they're not very good at kicking a football starting out, but you can see their leg, and then the other guys are so unselfish they'll start teaching them how to kick. And then I know a little bit about it just by studying it and stuff, but I can't kick. But I do know the technique of it and stuff, and I coach those guys and don't have to coach much. I just watch them kick, and then we'll just talk about mind things, and getting mentally ready to go and that kind of stuff.
All right, let's talk about the Gilmer Buckeyes. Gilmer, of course, a long-time coached by Jeff Traylor, and now he is at the University of Arkansas. Coach Turner is now the head coach, and we got after him pretty good last year, but you said at Chalk Talk they're better this year, right?
They are better. There's no question they're better, and offensively their quarterback's back, so. And he was sophomore last year, so he's a junior, and he's a tons better than he was last year. So that right there makes him better. And then we feel like they're up front, both offensive line and defensive line are better, especially their D-line. From me looking at them, because that's the side I'm looking at mostly, I think they're a lot better than they were last year, defensive line-wise. They've got an outside linebacker, number 13, is a very, very good player, and they're very athletic in the secondary. Number 7 at linebacker is a good player. And then offensively, they got 2 good backs, 22, and I believe the other one's 3. But I know 22, I believe his name's Bush. He can really run the football. And then they have another Flew Allen over there. The guy's been out there. I believe he's a junior. And he's a big, tall receiver. And then they have another big, tall receiver, number 4. So they got plenty of talent, and we've got to play well and continue to get better.
All right, what's your word on volleyball?
Volleyball's still rolling. They just swept Texas High Tuesday night at Texas High, and pretty easily. Played very well. I didn't get to go, but got a report we played very well for my wife and some other people, and so I believe we're 26-4 now. And next game against Beckville and at Beckville. So I think that they got a really chance to make a pretty good run here.
Now, we are in a small district. I think there's only 5 teams in the volleyball district. So that means for us, district starts a little late. So we've got to be getting close to the start of district, don't we?
We are. I think we're starting next week.
Okay.
But I'll correct you. There's only 4 teams in the district. So we're gonna make the playoff. We should win the district, honestly, pretty easily. I mean, not saying that arrogantly, but we're quite a bit better than the other 3 teams. So we should win 6 games there. We will be heavily favored in those games. So, we could, was talking to Coach Surratt earlier this week, and her goal is the same as ours, just continue to get better and see how good we can get and see what kind of run they can make. We're excited about their play. 26-4 is a heck of a record right now.
Yes, it is. Okay, and only 4 teams in our district. Was that the case last year too?
Yes, sir. Because Hudson don't have volleyball, and there's one other one that doesn't have volleyball.
Okay.
And so whoever's in our baseball district. How many teams we got in our baseball? Is it just 5?
Just got 5. That's
okay,
right.
well, that's it. Because Hudson don't have volleyball.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, well, let's see. Let's talk about the injuries. Boy, one blessing so far of this year is we haven't had real serious injury problems. Talk to us about Hunter Hill, first of all.
Yeah, that's the main one is Hunter is, he's got, I think, a stress fracture, and he's getting a second opinion actually tomorrow. And see where he's at. Dr. Griffin, the one that did his surgery, he came to Longview Orthopedic from the Houston Astros and the Texans. He was one of their doctors and one of their orthopedics, and so he's unbelievable. And then he came down here, and he went to half our games last year. He loved Carthage football and. Well, then he got a big job offer up there, and he's living he's living in Houston area, and I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, he gave him a big job up there, and now he's back with those guys. But he fit Hunter in and going to look at it and give a second opinion and see where we go from there. But we're really missing him. He ended up being a heck of a player for us last year, and so we're hoping we can get him back at some point. But his main thing is. He gets his leg well for the rest of his life.
How about Bladen Trokel?
Trokel's out. He'll be out a couple of games, but it should heal on its own. It's a partial tear of, I believe, the meniscus, and it's painful, but they heal on the meniscus. They heal on its own, and so he should be ready. I think after open week.
All right. As you thought about this team going into the season, are we where you thought we would be after 3 games? Or are we further along? Or
well, we're where we are. We're where we want to be. Undefeated and healthy. And other than Bladen and Hunter, which we were we're expecting. We had to expect Hunter not to be well, but coming off that kind of surgery, he didn't know if he'd be able to play. And Trokel is our short snapper on our extra point, and but we got about 3 of those guys. So you saw Cole Whitlock step in. We were perfect there last week. So other than those 2, we've been pretty healthy. And so I think defensively we knew we were going to be really good, and offensively we're coming on, and offensive lines keep coming on, and we're huge up there. And our tight end, Montrell Smith, really gives us a chance in blocking well. He's going to be a really good receiver. He's got to figure some things out, and just experience-wise. But then we got the wideouts back out there last year, and then the one that's been a great surprise was he's always been a quarterback. It's Craig McNew, and he's always open, and he runs by him. He's sneaky fast. And I know he broke one in our practice the other day, and everybody against our ones, and everybody's chasing him, and they didn't catch him, and he's done that a couple of times in practice, and so he's been a very good surprise. We got Delp at tailback, so the quarterback's got to continue to grow and get us into good plays and out of bad plays, and he's doing that, and so right now I think we're where we want to be. And just continue to get better.
Well, I tell you, Scott, McNew is a player you've really got to admire. He was in the quarterback picture along with Anthony Wilson before the season started, and then you decided on Kai Horton, and McNew came to you and said, basically, I want to play somewhere, right?
He did, and some of them do that and some of them don't. But he came to us and said, Coach, I want to be on the field. I like playing quarterback. Obviously, I want to be the quarterback. But if that don't work out, I want to be on the field. And whether it's a receiver, and he's already said he wants to play some safety next year.
So, is that right?
Yeah. So he just wants to play. I mean, it's one of those I want to play as much as I can, and you know, a great kid, and he's a player now. He's a player, got great hands, a great route runner, and that's what you don't know, how he's got great instinct, because he hadn't been in our system very long and never at receiver, and we stuck him out there and we started seeing things. This was just this summer and a little, and I said he's got a lot of natural instincts, and then we kind of teach him this, that, and other, and then he's picking up everything up. And he's a big benefit to our offense. He was wide open several times the other night. He ran right by him, and we got to get the ball to him more.
Another thing about this team, Scott, you do not have a two-way starter. And I can't, you'll probably know the answer to this, of how many years that's been true of Bulldog football, but that's a plus, isn't it?
It's always a plus. We've been able to do that here lately for the most part, and now we'll flip over and play a tight end some, and you know, you'll start seeing Rayvon get in on our short yardage. Some at tailback. If we get, you know, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, you know, he's a bigger body, 210 pounds in there, and we may run him in there. We've got a heavy package we're working on with Lister coming in, our defensive tackle, but you'll see those tight ends come over a little bit and give some help with Quentin Owens and things. But we're talking 4 or 5 plays a game, so we're very fortunate that and Quentin Owens is playing a little bit more than that in our solo package, and I think he played, I don't know, 3 or 4 snaps the other night, but you know, once we get into it, we really like solo. He may play 15, 20, 30 snaps a game, but he's ready.
All right, any final comments about the Buckeyes?
No, they're bringing in a lot better football team. You know, they played Paris. Paris is really, really good, and they're bringing a lot better football team than they had last year. So we're expecting a battle, and hopefully the rain and stuff gets out of here, and it'll be a great contest.
All right, 7:30 kickoff Friday night, the Buckeyes and the Bulldogs at Bulldog Stadium. This will be the last game for a couple of weeks. Next week we are off, and it'll be after this game only 2 more home games this year, and hopefully about something like 12 more on the road, something like that, or 10 on the road, something like that. So anyway, bottom line, if you want to see the Bulldogs at home, you need to come see this one, Gilmer Buckeyes, on Friday night, 7:30 kickoff. We'll go on the air about 7 o'clock with a look at the starting lineups. For Coach Surratt, I'm Larry Allen. Have a great weekend, everyone.